One night, my friends and I were playing out in the snow, and one of my friends had the bright idea to throw snowballs at passing cars. I'd never done this, so initially I was a little nervous, but my friends assured me that, it's fine, the car usually just drives away, whatever. So we build this little fort on the side of the road. They tell me to throw the first snowball, so I get one ready. Next car that comes around the corner, I launch it, hits the side of the car stops all of a sudden, comes to like a screeching halt. And so I get a little nervous, like, what's this guy gonna do? All of a sudden, one of my neighbors steps out of the car. He's screaming and yelling.
Damn kids, I thought I told you to stop throwing the snowballs at my car. Where are your parents? Get back in the house.
I just decide to run away. So I get up, I sprint in the opposite direction, and I run behind my neighbor's house, and I climb this little tree fort, and my friends are following behind me. About 30 seconds pass, everything's fine, I think it's safe. All of a sudden, I see this guy running around the corner of the house, and he was wearing a blue jacket. Now, my friend Garrick, who was with us that night, had also been wearing a blue jacket, so I assumed it was him. I go, "Hey, Garrick," and I realize right away it's not my friend Garrick, it's this neighbor whose car I hit with a snowball. He runs up, grabs me one hand by the neck, and the other hand by the collar of my jacket, and pulls me down out of this tree fort about 6 feet, and I land on the ground on my back, and it knocks the wind out of me. So he starts dragging me. Next thing I know, I'm being dragged through the trees, and he's dragging me through the snow. I'm yelling, kicking, and screaming, and he drags me into his garage. At this point, I didn't even know what was going to happen. I was terrified. All of a sudden, his wife comes out of the house and gets right behind him and joins in. She's yelling at me, he's yelling at me.
What are you kids thinking? You could have gotten my husband killed!
You could have killed someone.
All of a sudden, my friends run around the corner, and they see that he's still got a hold of me, so they grab one of my arms, and they try pulling me back from him. He just kind of pushes me back and goes in his house to call the police. I was way too scared to process anything that was happening. It's all happened really fast. I immediately start sprinting toward my house. I run home, run through the front door. My mom's already on the phone with this guy. She's angry at me because I threw a snowball at his car. And she sees I'm upset and I'm crying right away. And she puts the phone down and goes,
"Hold on. What happened, Frankie?"
I tell her the whole situation. And she gets this furious look on her face. And she picks the phone back up and calmly says,
"Did you put your hands on my son?"
I don't know what he said, but right away my mom, at the top of her lungs, yells,
"Did you put your hands on my son?"
She's looking at my neck. She's, very concerned. I have cuts and bruises on my neck. Next thing I know, she hangs up, and she right away calls my dad to tell him what happened. My dad's pulling in the driveway 2 minutes later, and he runs to my garage, grabs a baseball bat, and hops back in the car. And I'm thinking, oh my God, my dad's going to go kill this guy. So my dad starts peeling out of the driveway, and all of a sudden a squad car's pulling up to our house. Police officer gets out and asked to speak to me and my parents. My parents explained what happened, showed him the cuts and bruises. So the officer right away gets back in the squad car and goes and arrests this man. Before they take him down to the station, they bring him over to my house to apologize to me. So in a very nonchalant way, my neighbor apologized to me. Obviously, he thinks he's right in this situation. And my parents are yelling back at him. This guy can barely get a word in.
We're gonna call the police.
The officer's telling my parents to calm down. And my mom looks at the guy and says,
"You're lucky that the police got to you before my husband did, because he would have killed you."
This obviously freaked the guy out. So he got very quiet, and the officer was like,
"Okay, that's enough."
As they're putting him in the cop car to take him away to the police station, he has an asthma attack, and they have to rush him to the hospital. So it was just this crazy situation, and I definitely, never threw a snowball at a car ever again.